Welcome to the Canary, everyone. I'm Brian, and I'm just gonna say this right now. If you want to play this game, I'll put a link in the description below. However, when you first start this game, it's gonna be in Russian. So remember this screen here, so that way when you go and you turn the game on, you'll go ahead and be like, oh, the second one down is the settings menu. So you won't be like me and be like, go out on the exit game. Luckily, I knew what and yet were, so I was able to go out and figure that out pretty easily. So I did take a little bit of Russian, so I did know that little bit. But anyways, this is a visual novel. We've gone from a psychological horror to a backyard baseball game that I suck at, and now a visual novel. So let's check it out. Let's see what it's all about. This is also a demo, I believe. Yes, I believe this is a demo. Everything I'm playing this week is going to be demos, I believe. Yes. Everything I'm playing is demos, so the old games aren't out. If you want to know when they're released, you might be able to find the Steam page. I know for like the Car Mechanic Simulator one that I was looking at, I didn't find anything, so didn't find a release date. But maybe these games do, so go check them out, give them a try. Let's go. New game. Oh, man. Did I do something bad? Oh, man, you guys are looking at me very weird. You didn't make a reaction, but you still look like you're upset at me for some reason. Oh, I feel like I'm run over by a steamroller. What was that, and where am I? What is this place? The surroundings brought only gloom and despair, and some kind of drawings on the wall, too. I'm pretty sure you're in a nunnery. Icons? Yes, that's definitely what they are. But I can't even imagine what kind of religion this could be. Have I been kidnapped by cultists? Pretty sure I've been kidnapped by nuns, but... Right. I need to remember if there were any magical items in our shop. What? Magic? Someone must have broken into the shop and... Ugh. My head was throbbing like a battleship, and a bump pulsed on the back of my head like I'd been hit by a giant hammer. And you probably were. I jerked my hand away from my head as if scalded. As if only now coming to my senses, I began to examine, to feel, and... My thoughts were interrupted by the creak of an opening door, and a woman quietly entered the room. So strange that my eyes nearly popped out. Nice, you've come to your senses, Lyra. Oh God, what a witch! I thought, belatedly realizing that the address Lyra was meant for me. In the observer's intent gaze, my reflection flashed, and in that moment, I lost the power of speech. In the reflection of in my hand, this ridiculous holy nightcap. I flung it away, and in that instant, my mind was pierced by a memory of the strange guest from my dream. Hi, you look pretty. Do I gotta click on your throat? Okay. Ooh, animation. Is this our protagonist? Oh, this is pretty. What's happening is an echo of your life. The flight of your soul, like a bright ray of sunshine, the cradle of greenery, brought us together. You know what I mean? No, I don't. A melodic, cascaded note, sweet and pure, like laughter flowing from a child's lips. Your voice will fill everything around you and guides all mysteries. My search is over, but you can find the melody that will dispel the darkness. And remember, Lyra, don't be afraid to follow your heart. It will show you the right path. That was cool. No. This can't be happening. It's just a dream. What do you mean, transmigration of souls? What's happening to me? The attempt to pitch myself was successful, but waking up was not. Is there dead? Throwing sacred clothing like some rag, your behavior shames the holy order. Pick up the cap and put it neatly. I squeamishly picked up the dirty, torn rag. The former cap looked hopelessly ruined. Putting it on my head would be just strange, but the height of stupidity. The overseer's gaze was stern. Her colorless mouth was primly pursed. Her eyes, cold and calculating, slid over me and the gray walls. She waited, and I was just trying to figure out how to control this new battered avatar and not faint. You must have greatly angered our lord, for which he has punished you. Throw that rag in the corner. The overseer expected me to rush to obey, but I was still in a stupor. Ugh! You want to get down for a little bit, Oompa? Hang on a second, I gotta take a bird down real quick. Hey, baby girl. Alright. My head was buzzing, and reality was splitting in two. Mother Taylor waits your bread for your for penance. Make yourself presentable and change your clothes, you witch. And hurry up. You have no time for idle reflections. Elvina's gaze again slid squeamishly over my torn cap. She grimaced and funnily left, slamming the door heavily behind her. Rude. My chest tightened like a steel hoop. My breathing quickened and grew more ragged. Control crumbled to dust. Panic engulfed me, burning away the remnants of reason. While the witch is gone behind the door, I have a couple minutes to pull myself together and not lose my mind completely. In frantic attempts to grab onto something familiar, I noticed a bulky chest and a robe thrown over it. Gritting my teeth, I picked up this misunderstanding. I don't even know what else to call this garment, but with difficulty I pulled it on. Good for you. Getting it together, honey. You're not the one who gives up. This is just a new adventure. Deep breath in. Exhale. Thoughts flashed like lightning. The frantic pounding in my ears changed to a heavy, steady pulse. It became bearable. At least I could hear my own thoughts again. Whew, thank God. I could have got stuck if you couldn't. Beyond the door, a gloomy corridor met me. The smell within the walls was quite pleasant. Apparently a kitchen or dining hall was nearby, but we need to go to penance first. We need to go ahead and pray for the sins of for insulting the Elvina, I guess. The overseer was waiting at the entrance. In her posture, in this predatory lurking stillness, there was something serpentine and made my blood run cold. Our eyes met. The silence was so thick that every breath echoed in my ears. Follow me, you stupid witch. The aroma of food, rich and warm, stirred my consciousness. Every cell of my body reached towards this realm of taste, but fate led us away from this place. You must do penance first, you idiot, stupid little child. You need to pray to God who forgives you for going ahead and ripping that nightcap and disrespecting me, you little stupid woman. Is the reason why they were looking at her so evil-like is because she's prettier than the rest of them. I hear women get jealous when prettier women are around. As soon as we stepped outside, the gray walls of my barracks gave way to pleasant rustic motifs. Good God, how long have I dreamed of getting out of those stifling walls? Memories of the meeting with Lyra filled my mind. It was so vivid, and her promise that everything would be fine caused great doubts. But I'm not used to giving up. Is a bunch of pious fanatics in prickly robe really going to break me? No! We are going to do this. We are going to be successful, and we're going to show Elvina who's boss. Who the real boss lady is. I'm not sure if the bird's going to come back. That's why I keep looking down. Hurry up, you wayward girl. Fear the Almighty before He presents you with new trials. The escort pushed me in the back. Her icy gaze drilled into the back of my head. No worse than a neighbor's hammer drill at 9 a.m. Steady and shameless. Another nun passed us like a fox in the night. When her eyes touched mine, I felt a sense of sympathy in them. Overseer Lyra, I see the novice Lyra has come to her senses. No! She must be punished and given new trials for being naughty and whatever the hell. Oh, Overseer Freda, quite right. She's ready for audience with Mother Taylor. Freda nodded convincingly and almost seemed to smile. Apparently not everyone wishes for my demise. Just her and everybody else. Elvina sensed my thoughts and narrowed her gaze. Oh God. But I chose to ignore it. Good on you. The green grass captivated my gaze so much I didn't notice us approaching the temple buildings. It towered majestically over the other structures, creating an atmosphere of grace and wisdom. I get to push the button. Oh my God, what's this? A man in the temple? Why do you look at me like that? And he looks familiar. I met him before. Strange. Creaky steps led us to the second floor to huge oak doors. My escort froze. Behind this barrier clearly had someone more important than a mere overseer. We entered. My eyes were drawn to a vast number of ancient books, letters, and manuscripts, and that incredible stained glass window. But this delight was spoiled by the sight of a smug toad devouring me with her gaze. Mother Taylor, be so kind as to accept us. Dude, she does kind of look like a toad, doesn't she? She kind of reminds me of that, that one lady from Harry Potter. I call her Miss Toadstool because I think that sounds about right. Come in, Sister Elvina. A powerful woman with a corpulent body looked down at me with unconcealed disgust. I don't think she'd be looking down upon you. You're a little bit taller than her. I think she'd be looking up at you. Unless she sits on a pond high, in which case then I can probably see that. In my past life, people like this invited only ridicule. From the height of my years, every second person of this kind had an extremely inflated ego and not an ounce of achievement to their soul. My overseer was afraid to even look in Mother's direction. Apparently here, she is the power and the law. I had to make a certain effort to put on a mask of humility appropriate for the occasion. Young lady, diligence and humility are the pillars upon which faith and harmony rest. By the covenants of the Almighty. By the covenants of the Almighty, my overseer echoed her. Every fiber of Mother was tense. The rising indignation could have made the air sparkle, but she restrained it, and I felt that she, too, wears a mask that holds back her true nature. The path of enlightenment is thorny, but it grants light and harmony to both body and soul. But self-will, disobedience, insolence! I hope, novice, you understand where I am going with this. No, Sister Taylor, I do not. Please enlighten me, my toadish nun. Even the stern faces seemed to condemn everyone who entered. What an atmosphere. Elvina, go. Meet the old keykeeper. He should already have returned from the village. Is that who that guy was that we saw? Was he the keykeeper? Very interesting indeed. Yes, Mother Taylor, I will do so at once. The door closed slowly. The dust settled. Silence filled the space. Mother's fingers drummed nervously on the tabletop, and her lips tightened into a thin line. When she spoke, the very walls shook from her hidden rage. Reckless child! The mask cracked. The anger Taylor had hidden in the overseer's presence finally broke free, revealing her true essence. How dare you leave the walls of our abode? Paul, our servant, stumbled upon your lifeless body in the middle of the waste only by the will of the Almighty. Can such behavior be called worthy of a novice? After completing evening prayer, every novice is expected to return to her cell. Every single one. To you, the rule is but a hollow sound, a vexing hindrance, but there is no room for exceptions here. The order? No one! Do you hear me? I am speaking on my microphone. No one leaves this hall without my blessing. Taylor leaned forward, and I noticed her pupils dilating unnaturally, nearly drowning the iris in sticky blackness. Rash, headstrong girl! How dare you! Do you think the darkness of the night concealed you? Oh no, the abode sees everything. I feel the cold of another dead world emanating from you. Is that bad? This carcass was nearly bursting with rage. Her chest heaved from heavy breathing, phrases breaking off mid-sentence. Every holy voice is but a vessel, pure and fragile. Do you know what I do with that which I defiled? I smash it to pieces. Mother turned to the window, looking through the temple walls. The smell of old wood, dust, and a scent of traces of incense made the air incredibly thick, making it even harder to breathe. Don't try to lie to me, girl. I sense falsehood with every cell. Speak. What led you into the darkness of the night? I don't know. Apparently I'm just a reincarnation. Uncertain bleeding was uncharacteristic of me, but that piercing, icy gaze dug into my throat with a death grip. I don't understand what you mean. A monastery is a place of humility, not adventurous escapades. There's no will of yours here, Lyra. Within these walls, only the rule breathes, and only it has the right to speak. Well, I gotta know what I'm gonna do if I can't speak. This escape is not just a whim. I feel a stranger's shadow standing behind your back, whispering what you should do. What is it, Lyra? Or who? I stood still, thoughts fluttering like frightened birds in a cage. Possession fills people's minds. The kingdom is crumbling from within, and only we, the nuns, strive to maintain the balance. But you, arrogant, defiant, disobedient, decided you were above all that. There's always gotta be one, right? I will not let this rot take root. You will not be the spark that burns down our monastery. I will sear away your arrogance with labor and prayer. You will be sent to corrective labor in the temple, and Martha will receive orders to reduce your wrath to a minimum. Well, god dang it. I only eat one meal anyway, so I don't care. I don't eat breakfast and lunch, I only need dinner. So there. Through exhausting labor and penitent singing, you will remember who you truly are. Mire and prayer. That is your only path to purification. Pray to the Almighty to grant you strength. You will need it very soon. Mother, this is unthinkable. Elvira's roar shook both of them. My mask of humility had long since turned into a mask of horror. The mother's face smoothed out instantly, returning to the deceptive calm. Elvira, now is not the time. Mother's voice turned icy again, and her gaze piercing. But in the depths of her pupils, a storm of unbridled rage still raged. Forgive me, Mother, but this letter, it's from our Baron. You see, he's worried about her little soul. Mother's face broke out in blotches, and she herself seemed immense in that shivers garment worn by the Covenant. She exhaled meaningfully and turned back. Continue fasting. Elvina will pass on my instructions. Go down to Sister Freda. She will determine your punishment. I didn't wait for new commands and flew out of the library like a canary from a stuffy tunnel. Descending the stairs, I saw that same light-footed woman below. Novice Lyra, how are you feeling? After being called to the carpet, kind of speech deprived me of my already fragile footing. What's wrong with me? Where did this fine come from? I feel like a little girl scolded for a dirty dress for the first time. Where has my battle stance gone? Sister Freda froze in expectation. I was in no hurry to answer in the murky waters of this monastery. It's hard to tell who will lend a shoulder and who will trip you up. Mother Taylor has assigned you extra work in the temple, hasn't she? Follow me. I nodded affirmatively. Her gaze seemed soft, but in that rigid posture, one could feel an unbending will. My God! What beauty! The stained glass in this hall was even more wonderful, apparently with the faces of local saints. Come in, she pointed slowly to the table in the corner where a stack of old parchments were already piled up. Sort the items by type. Okay. Dear residents, we remind you that the service takes place on the last day of the week, in the afternoon. Come and may the Almighty protect you. The holiday in the name of the Almighty will take place on the day of the beginning of the harvest. We most humbly ask kind and generous gentlemen to do us the honor of welcoming you. The great Caesar always took 3 steps forward before making a decision. Freda darted a quick glance at the door and lowered her voice to a whisper. You shouldn't keep this in plain sight. Here, take the key and hide the book in the cabinet. Okay. When you're finished, return the key to me personally. Don't you dare lose it. Now go to Aurora and make yourself presentable. Your appearance is too loose for these walls. What? So do I have to go and put on the nun outfit or something like that? The book is in its place. Freda is buried in her records. And in the silence of the library, only the dry scratching of her pen is heard. She seems to have no time for me at all. But there's a treacherous prickle in the back of my head as if someone is standing behind me. In the scratching of Freda's pen, I begin to hear someone else's intermittent whisper. I can't believe my eyes. I wish I could get out of here as soon as possible. I approached and silently placed it on the edge of the table. Freda silently took the key, hiding it in a deep fold of her sleeves. For a moment it seemed to me that she nodded approvingly. One less worry. Now, to the exit! Who are you? You don't look like Freda. Leave the temple. Outside it was finally possible to take a full breath. I froze on the porch, trying to steady the shaking in my hands and simply look around. My fresh bruises ached. Mother mentioned that this escape was far from my first son, so Lyra was quite the rebel, or... A nasty thought crept into my head. Could these pious sufferers have raised a hand against a child themselves? Or could they? My solitude didn't last long. 2 novices, judging by their looks, Lyra's age, were already running toward me from the temple garden. Their sincere smiles were visible from afar. No supervision, no heaviness, only girlish joy and breathlessness from running. For a moment, I even forgot where I was. Lyra, how are you? I'm so glad you're alive. When we found out, we were deathly afraid. It seems these ones are one of our own. Look at how they glow, as if I've returned from the afterlife. Did they give you a hard time? You must have caught it. Caught what? Mylin, wait. Let her catch her breath. Their joy was almost tangible. I had forgotten what it was like when people look at you without judgment or fear. In my past life, emotions were a luxury, but here they overflow. While Malin was trying to clarify something, it becomes clear from the conversation that the second one was named Aurora. 2 more novices approached unnoticed. What trouble have you prepared for us today? Good God! What a nasty voice, like a haunting reminder from the past. Lesya, can't we do without you? Last time they made us scrub all the utensils. Before that, hard labor in the field, and also, be glad you're alive. What's there to be glad about? It's nothing but trouble. I should be taken away any day now. We all have to clean up everything. She's my son here. Taken away? Taken away? How? She's got marriage in her future while we're left gnawing the last crust of bread. You're angry because you didn't get the first voice in the choir. So know this, you wouldn't have gotten it even without Lyra. Maybe you put our curious little fool up to sneaking into the basement, like to check what secrets are hiding there. A flame erupted in Leslia's eyes. She turned away sharply, tossing her ponytail, and headed towards the barracks where Elvina had led me from. I have no need for that. She's a magnet for trouble all of her own! Casting a prickly glance at us, Leslia turned and left. The second girl obediently scurried after her, trying to keep up. Meanwhile, joy faded from Aurora's face, leaving only a waxy paleness. She clenched her fist until her knuckles turned white and nodded toward the departing Lesya. It's time for us to get to work. Dropping this dryly, in an almost alien voice, she walked away without looking back, following Lesya's route. The bell rang. Malin hurriedly also headed around the corner of the chapel. I moved after them, trying not to break the general rhythm. Right now it's safest to just become one of the many. But what on earth is going on here? Oh, God. Alright, so we gotta prepare the soil, remove weeds, then harvest. Oh my God, what in tarnation is all this? Alright, so I guess we gotta remove the weeds, right? Oh, wait, that's a shovel, we can't do that. Okay. I am preparing the soil! Okay, there we go. What is all this? Okay. Okay, what do? I literally had like... Oh, I can't put this... Oh! Can I like combine them together? Oh! Okay. That makes things a little easier. Oh my goodness! Okay, so I harvested. Okay. Oh, what can I do now? Malin, tell me, what they say your aunt will come for you in a week. They have good relatives, so you'll live. Yeah, then why did you send them? So you always dreamed of singing yourself. You have an excellent voice, of course, but where did you find an excellent place of such talent? Couldn't join the troop of these. Malin, tell me what marriage awaits me. Okay, hold on a sec. So they say your aunt will come for you in a week. They say you have good relatives, so you'll live. Yeah, then why did you send him on the monastery? So you always dreamed of singing yourself. You have an excellent voice, of course, but where would you find a decent place for a child with such talent? Somewhere away, I guess? Couldn't join a troop of these wanting artists, so we agreed. How did you find out? Well, I overheard Taylor's mother reading Elvina a letter, and then we talked about it. She was crazy. I'm lost. But she also said that anything can happen in a week. Okay, I guess that's it for that. So now I can do this, I can plant this, I can do this, then I can do this. I can go ahead and get rid of those because we don't need no weeds in our garden. Our garden of solitude and awesomeness. Plant that, water this, put that there. Take this, get rid of that, put that. Maylene, what's wrong with Aurora? Why is she so withdrawn? Aurora? Right. But you don't know. She got a letter too, but her relatives, they disowned her. Well, that sucks. Why do they disown her? What do you mean? I mean, they disowned her. Well, as usual, they say we're broke. Don't leave the orphan and all that. Okay. She'll soon be 18. Then it's either the street or a nun. Without dowry, who will marry her? I don't know. How she begged the grump to leave her as a worker at the monastery, but she wouldn't do it. He says that since Sister Gela has passed away, someone needs to take her place, and there are already enough assistants. Okay. So I guess I learned more of the story as I progress, then I guess? Okay, so now we got the third one. Maylin, what about Lesia? What about Lesia? As always, she's competing with you for first place in the choir, and that's why she's being sarcastic. What's wrong with you? You don't look like yourself. Apparently I'm reincarnated into this female's body. I guess I'm not doing as well as I thought. And also... I think I hit my head really hard and it flew out. This is bad. You really are somehow different. I don't know what to think. Okay, dinner's about to begin. Don't leave my side. I'll find you a seat. Okay, well, thank you. But I need to go ahead and finish up my duties though, apparently, right? We have to fill this bar up, apparently. You completed all the tasks. By clicking the finish button, make sure that you have viewed all the dialogue. I have viewed all the dialogue. What happens if I do next? Oh, okay. Because it didn't really matter whether I hit that or continue. Maylin called me over and whispered the details while we trudged behind the girls returning from the fields. Aurora's expression stayed before my eyes. You know how it is. Anger sparks anger, joyous smile, but this. Not even despair. Hopeless apathy. Bankrupt parents, a rejection, a letter. At 18, her will shrink to the size of a convent garden, or turn into a filthy den of a port tavern, and Aurora understood this better than anyone. No. Do not give in. One cannot allow themselves to lose life force and faith. After all, how does it go? God doesn't have a cross heavier than one can bear. And half a century of accumulated combat experience is no small feat either. My thoughts were interrupted by a growling stomach. The greedy rumbling in my gut was louder than any prayers. Maylin seated me next to her in the dining hall. The girls had their own tables, the elders had separate ones. A cook walked past serving the food. The contents of the bowls were pitiful. Apparently it's harder to pray mournfully on a full stomach. I see. Cabbage soup and porridge, our daily bread. And you get less because you were naughty. Naughty! I don't get it. This morning the hall was filled with the aroma of many dishes, but on the table there's just a bowl of porridge and a crust of bread. That's because you get lesser servings now because you're being punished, lady. While I was lost in thought, a heated argument broke out at the table. How dare you call the venerable overseer Donna an old witch? Oh, sorry. How dare you call the venerable overseer Donna an old witch? Why not? Her gaze was cooler than death. You know Vina seemed like a fairy godmother next to her. You were her favorite because you poured fairy tales into her ears. All we ever got from her was the rod. Right. So they have rods in this blessed establishment. That's not encouraging at all. She was vowed obedience and self-sacrifice, something you could never find. Agree, but the Almighty didn't value her devotion either. Why did he lead her into the marshes and let wolves tear her heart out? True believers don't face such a harsh evil. Perhaps Erwin, your faithful mute, will tell us what it's like to be alone with that overseer. Or shall I show you what that righteous torturer actually gave us? I felt out of place in this old war I knew nothing about, but the stares from all sides demanded an answer from me. Well, I wasn't going to support my friend. Which was my friend? Oh, jeez. Malin. Yeah. Ah! No! That's not the one I wanted! Let's go back. I don't want to support Malin! No! I wanted... Like it for not paying attention, man. Well, that touching stupidity. Pray that your protector's long tongue doesn't earn us a gift from beyond measure. Lesia chuckled meaningfully and left the dining hall. Erwin, after a pause, followed uncertainly. Aurora and Malin looked after them with undistinguished irritation. In their eyes, there was not only anger, but a strange chagrin. As if they understood. There was a grain of truth in Lesia's poisonous words. My presence here really caused him so much trouble? Apparently, because I just sided with the wrong person. Malin, as if sensing my confusion, placed her hand on my shoulder. Don't let it get to you, Lyra. Oh, I didn't support the right person. We remember how that wish took it out of you. We'll get through this. The bell tolling here clearly serves as commands. Opposite me, as if from nowhere, the cook's figure appeared. Lyra, Aurora, it's your turn to clean today. To work! Merge same items to complete the task. Okay. Alright, so we gotta do that, we gotta do that. Do they have to be in the same spot? Can I, like, drag them? Okay. Can I drag it over like this? Oh, look at that, look at that. Okay, this is actually kind of fun, actually. And it's not, doesn't seem like it's too picky about what I do. Oh, God. This is gonna take forever. Phew! Alright, I got my first dialogue. Aurora, do you know anything about yesterday? Yes, I know but a little. Aurora's expecting some kind of revelation from me. The cook passes every now and then, but her chores kept her completely on the offensive. You somehow miraculously find yourself outside the walls. You spent a month asking everyone about the abandoned chapel. You even managed to find out something from Paul. Okay. I covered for you in front of Freda, distracted the hag Elvina, and you still haven't said a word. What was I thinking? I should have locked you in solitary confinement myself. Okay. So I guess we continue our chores. Slowly, but surely. We will get this all done in due time. Okay, number 2. Aurora continued to stare at me. I had to somehow break this silence. Break this silent silence. Wouldn't silence have been enough? Aurora, we don't understand what chapel you're talking about. There's a void in my head. It must have hit my head really hard. That's how it is. You were talking about Paul. Mother Taylor said he was the one who brought me to the mercenary. How did he find me? And what could I possibly be looking for in an abandoned chapel? Shh! Not now. I mean, that's fair. We don't want to get in more trouble than we are already in. Maybe we'll get the final piece of the puzzle after we do this. Alright, last one. Aurora, She waited until the cook moved away. Apparently it's not for nothing that the villagers tell tales about this place. Maybe I left something there? Forget about the old chapel. You think you reported once and that Taylor would sit like a mouse and pray that she will let you out of here when your family arrives? Does she really have the right to not to let me out? She has no right, but she might find a way. Besides, she has plans for you. I don't like the sound of that. I didn't understand anything. Tell me clearly. Later. Let's keep it down. Don't say anything unnecessary, especially in front of Erwin. Okay. And so I guess gotta finish this up and we're good, I guess, right? Okay, this is weirdly satisfying. You complete all the tasks, but click the finish button and make sure you... Yes, I have. The cook approached the table. Oh my goodness. Fastidiously inspecting the last batch of washed bowls. Alright, girls, that'll do. Here. Teach when no one's watching. Otherwise, what keeps life flickering? Thank you, Martha. Thank you. Martha slipped a warm cabbage pie into her hand and immediately turned back to the vat, clattering her ladle. Good God! How grateful I was to her. A spoonful of porridge and a dried-up slice were clearly not enough for this small, beaten body. Aurora pulled me by the sleeve toward the exit. Where are we flying off to? I hissed, trying to swallow a piece of pie on the go. Has your memory failed you completely? To the choir, Lyra! Sister Freda was already standing by the entrance of the chapel. She impatiently beckoned the latecomers, her keen gaze pausing on me for a moment. The temple threw open its doors like a stone maw, patiently waiting for another canary to step into its old, cold belly. Oh my God! Oh my goodness, God, okay. Got as many lights as possible by moving the bird up and down. So I need my keyboard for this one. Alright, W and S. Press space to start. Oh, okay. That would have been kind of a cool little feature to add to it, like a tap and hold rather than what we got here. Is there going to be an end to this, or is this just how it's going to go? Got a little peeking going on there. The sound of the bell washed over me like an icy shower. It turned out that while the choir sang, I had simply drifted into a blackout. All the grandeur of the service I had imagined existed only in my head. Seeing that I had come to my senses, the girls began to scatter to their tasks. Outside, peace awaited. The damp air soaked in the delicate scent of flowers gently filled my lungs. The warm summer sun caressed the young leaves in my exhausted soul, making me forget the hollow echo of the cathedral for a moment. This light serenity is so lacking in the city anthill. My state was strange to the extreme. I should have been on my guard, but I had neither the strength nor the desire left. Right nearby, above the window, birds were pouring out an intricate trill. One of them fluttered down from a branch and landed very close, tilting its head and began to study me with its bead-like eyes, as if deciding whether to trust this new Lyra. "Think we'll manage?" I whispered, not knowing why myself. I tried to whistle something similar back. Truth be told, my lips were so dry that it didn't come out very melodiously. Ho, the bird seemed to like it. The feathered guest fluttered, changing branches, and sang again, filling the garden with living souls. I found myself thinking about my new life. If only I could put my thoughts in order. This monastery doesn't give me a single minute of silence. A familiar silhouette appeared ahead. Judging by our look, our tireless messenger had found something out. "Come on," Millian grabbed my arm and pulled me along. "We need to get away from prying ears." Well, let's hear what news she brought this time. She followed the path toward the garden without looking back, as if she knew I would follow her. The shadows of the tree branches stole the pleasant warmth of the setting sun, and the air grew colder. "Thanks for supporting me in the dining hall. That isn't like you, but I'm only happy about it." I just shrugged. I had neither the strength nor the ideas for a coherent answer. We used to be inseparable, the three of us, you, me, and Aurora, though, truth be told, you were always closer to me. She turned sharply toward the temple, as if checking if someone was watching. Millian was clearly struggling with her feelings, a glint in her eyes, an exhale. "All right, I found out Paul will be staying a few nights in the Vosmaker's cottage, and get this, strangely enough, the old keykeeper handed him the keys without a single word, like it was the most natural thing." She broke off, lowering her voice to a whisper. "He used to do that only when important guests arrive, or on holidays." Millian faltered, bitterness piercing her voice. "And I saw him bringing you in that night. You were hanging in his arms like a broken doll, and he held you so close, Lyra, as if he wanted to hide you from the whole world. Tell the truth, you didn't just happen to be there, did you?" This question put me in a deadlock. There was no point in admitting I'd lost my memory, and how can I answer something I don't know? She continued deeper into the garden, but slowly and not too carefully, almost tripping over a root, catching her hem on branches a few times, but she didn't pay any attention. The surroundings changed to a more spacious view of a small house near the apiary. Millian gasped sharply and disappeared behind the nearest bushes. "Yeah, my God, it's my lover, I love him." I darted after her, nearly knocking her to the ground. Following the direction of her frozen gaze, I noticed a young man working by the hives. Memories of the morning temple corridor and that long eye-to-eye gaze flashed in my mind. We hadn't uttered a word, but now everything clicked. This was Paul, the very savior I had seen somewhere before, but couldn't quite remember. He's the only one like that. Strong, brave. I can't imagine how one could dare to go into the field alone at night. Millian thought, though embarrassed, greedily watched Paul at work. I looked from her to him and couldn't help but smile. Noticing my reaction, she huffed significantly and immediately put on a stern face. "If it wasn't for him, you wouldn't be sitting here right now. Don't give me your crap." Fair enough. But behind this heroic screen lurked a question I couldn't ignore. What was he doing in the wasteland at night? Could this hero be the reason I blacked out in the first place? The clouds rolled in suddenly. The air became heavy and cold, and a rising wind whipped the leaves frantically. Darkness thickened with every second. It was long past time for us to return, so we should return. A thunderclap split the sky in two. Rain poured down. In the dim torchlight, I saw Paul freeze. A figure slid toward him from the shadows. The stranger slowly extended a hand. Paul placed a small bundle into it. Millian's heartbeat echoed in my ears as if Paul were still chopping wood right now. The deal was done, but the figure didn't leave. His gaze pierced exactly where we were hiding. Those eyes, they look right into the heart, Millian whispered this barely audibly. "Let's go, fast!" I jerked Millian by the sleeve. She seemed rooted to the spot. I had to use force to literally wrench her out of this trance and get her legs moving. Trying not to give ourselves away with an exact crunch, we scrambled from the hiding place. As soon as the tree swallowed our silhouettes, I quickened my pace. The rain intensified, and my thin shoulders felt the wet robe hanging in clumps. It didn't matter now if we were seen or not. We ourselves were like ghosts. The emptiness of the central square gave a brief illusion of safety, but icy drops trickled from my hair onto my face and quickly brought me back to reality. You don't belong here! A real witch, her sunken mouth revealing a lack of teeth, twisted disdainfully in a grim grimace. What are you doing here? Sister Elvin, Elvina, forgive us. We were just walking in the gardens, and then the storm, the wind. Malin rattled on, hiding her eyes. The crone snorted contemptuously, a sound that reminded me of a snake's hiss. Now this, Malin, to your cell at once, and you. Her bony finger stopped right in front of my nose. Go to the infirmary ward. Mother told you to fast and pray to the Almighty. We parted without another word. I almost ran toward my apartments, which I now knew by sight. The heavy door didn't want to yield to my current little body, but I had plenty of stubbornness in my past life, too. The door to my room was slightly ajar, and I flew into it without losing a second. A prehistoric wooden bed, a thick layer of dust, stone walls with no sign of comfort, and a lingering smell of lime. A strange pot sat under the bed, and on the table, a small candle burned lonely, lighting the only feast for today. A crust of stale bread. Okay, well, that is definitely going a lot longer than I thought it would. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want to read it for yourself, play it for yourself, I will leave a link down in the description below so you can give it a try. Thanks again, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now, everyone. Have a good one.